Today we'll have a look at the chapter called Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants, where we'll just deal with the flower for now. So, flowers are objects of aesthetic, ornamental, social, religious, and cultural value. That means they are grown for their beauty. They are used in various places or gatherings like birthday parties, marriage functions, used in places of worship too. Flowers are condensed vegetative shoots or modified vegetative buds. That means that a bud which was to become a stem with leaves now has become a flower. So the leaves are modified into different parts of the flower. So every part of the flower is a modified leaves. So each part of the flower is called a floral leaf. So in an angiosperm, there are four whorls or four parts. Why only an angiosperm? Because angiosperms only show true flowers. Gymnosperms, pteridophytes, bryophytes, and thallophytes do not show a proper or true flower. The four parts of the flower are the calyx, the corolla, the androecium, and the gynoecium. Let's have a look at these four parts quick. So, from the outside, if you look, the first part is the sepal. So, a flower may have one or more sepals. Collectively, they are called the calyx. Next part is the brightly colored petal. A flower may have one or more petals. They are collectively called the corolla. Next comes the male reproductive part, the stamen. Stamen consists of a filament and an anther. So filament and anther together make up the stamen. A flower may have one or more stamens. Together or collectively, they are called the androecium. Next is a female reproductive part consisting of the stigma, the style, and the ovary. These three together are called the carpels or singular carpel. A flower may have one or more carpels. Collectively, they are called the gynoecium. So the four parts or wholes of a flower are broadly categorized into two, namely the non-essential organs and the essential organs. Non-essential organs are the accessory whorls or perianth members. They are also called such. Essential organs are also referred to or called as reproductive whorls or sporophylls. Non-essential organs do not take part in reproduction. They do not produce male and female gametes. So they are sterile. Essential organs take part in reproduction. They produce the gametes. So they are fertile. The non-essential organs include the calyx or the sepals and the corolla, which are the petals. Essential organs include the androecium and the gynoecium, or the stamens and the carpels. So a flower has four parts. So generally, when a flower has all the four parts, we call it a complete flower. We call it a complete flower. So in a flower, the calyx is the outermost whorl, followed by the corolla or petals, followed by the androecium or stamens, and then the gynoecium, which is the innermost whorl. So remember, of the four whorls in a complete flower, outermost is the calyx, innermost is the gynoecium. Based on what we just learned, let's have a look at two or three questions. How many whorls are present in a flower of a typical angiospermic flowering plant? Is it 2, 4, 6, or 8? We just said that there are 4 whorls in a complete flower. The number of non-essential whorls in a typical angiospermic flowering plant are 2, 4, 6, or 8. Non-essential whorls are the calyx and the corolla, so there are only 2 of them. The innermost non-essential whorl in a typical angiospermic flower is the calyx, the corolla, androecium, gynoecium. Non-essential whorls are the calyx and the corolla. We just said outermost is the calyx. So innermost will be the corolla. The outermost essential whorl in a typical angiospermic flower is the androecium, the calyx, the corolla, or the gynoecium. Essential whorls are the stamens or androecium, then the carpels or gynoecium. And if you remember, we said innermost is the gynoecium. So outermost automatically will become the androecium. That is all for today, kids.